I am often asked if I have a favorite camera. Although I feel there are cameras that perform better than others, there is currently no single camera that excels in all aspects. There are jack of all trades and masters of none, and there are masters of some trades that are not very versatile. I strongly believe in using the right camera for the job. For Quezon's Game, a motion picture I recently finished, I used the Blackmagic cinema camera and the Panasonic VariCam LT. This film will explain why I felt they were the right cameras for the job. We shot much of this movie on location as Casas de Filipinas de Acuzar in the province of Bataan in the Philippines. It is stunningly beautiful and a popular tourist resort, so I wanted our production team to cast as small a footprint as possible. Thus I took the smallest equipment I could. The smaller the camera is, the more stable it will be on lightweight motion and grip equipment. As the locations were also quite small, the smaller the camera and its support equipment, the more room I would have for depth and blocking. The Blackmagic cinema camera fitted this criteria well. It is the smallest camera I know that has enough pro compatibility for me to shoot in the workflow I am used to. I find the image of this camera to be very pleasing. I often mix it with much larger and expensive cameras with absolutely no compromise to the image. It is, however, a 2.5 micro four thirds sensor, so it does have some limitations. The large format camera I used was the Panasonic VariCam LT. Take a look at this night scene. This is a fairly wide frame, but I used no lights on this shot at all. The entire frame is illuminated by these 4 garden lights and the car's headlights. The driveway was practically black to the naked eye. How does the Panasonic do this? They use dual ISO, which I set here at 5000 ISO baseline. Before we shot, I did extensive tests on the dual ISO, and it did deliver what Panasonic claimed. 2 native baselines, 800 ISO and 5000 ISO. I shot the same material twice with the same lighting on both ISOs, compensating exposure with shutter control, then cut them together. The difference between 800 ISO and 5000 ISO was almost indistinguishable. How can we utilize dual ISO other than shooting in light conditions formerly too dark to capture? Take a look at this frame, set at 800 ISO, shot just after sunset, but before the sky goes black. Now look at it, with a camera set at 5000 ISO. The scene supposedly takes place early morning, during first light. I am using only available light during the entire scene, cast only by the street lights, garden lights, and the remaining light from the sky. The question arises, why shoot it after sundown if it's supposed to be early morning? As the camera tracks with the actor through the house, there is a time where the outside exposure will be considerably higher than the interior exposure. I did not want to use high wattage lights in the house to balance the exposure, so I first measured the exposure coming from the existing ceiling light and scheduled the scene to be shot at approximately the time the outside ambient light was about the same exposure as that of the inside. If I did not, the sky in this frame would be grossly clipped, or the actor would be in silhouette. Notice how he moves from the interior light to the exterior light with no change of exposure. We shot the entire scene in 30 minutes, 15 minutes for the single tracking shot and 15 minutes for the close-up OTS shots.
You're right. Aguinaldo is trying to use the refugee issue to gain favor.
I began to get worried towards the end of the OTS shots, as it was getting very dark. I thought I may be pushing the capability of the camera too far, as this shot was set at 12,800 ISO, but the waveform still looked healthy, so I kept on shooting. We had to add a little noise reduction in post, but I was very happy with the outcome. So the answer to the question, do I have a favorite camera, is yes. The right camera for the job. I hope this film will be useful to you.